All right, brethren, thank you for joining me. My name is Jaquab Ben Yisrael. Welcome to my channel. It's a channel for faithists, brethren who are like-minded, who can subscribe to the OAHSPE Practical Guidebook. Welcome. I want to give thanks to the Creator, for this opportunity to try to be a light while I'm in this reality. The purpose of my channel is to share what the latest revelation is of the Creator. The latest revelation of the Creator. We're in a different time. We're in a time where our minds are going to change, our reality is going to change, our situation is going to change. The Creator says in the OAHSPE Practical Guidebook that he's going to expose the false gods of the current reality, and that the kingdom of man as we currently know it is going to be taken down, and the kingdom as it was always meant to be is going to be implemented in our reality. We're in the process of that happening right now. We live in a world, you brethren who are enlightened, who are attaining to the voice of the Creator. You see that we're in a situation where we are pretty isolated. We're surrounded by the present darkness, and it's a pretty perilous situation that we're in the sense that if you're not really proactive when it comes to trying to attain to the voice of the Creator, to learn and to grow and to esteem your spirituality highly, to really value it, then we don't know exactly what the consequences are, but we know that we are due to cross over, and then our real life will begin, and there we will realize the importance of the things that we do now, if you know what I'm saying. And it's hard to do because we live in a reality where we expect immediate recompense for the things that we do. We're geared towards immediate gratification for the things that we believe, and for we expect, in other words, I don't perceive that we live in a reality where it's easy to be patient, and patience is called for when you are a faithist, when you're on this level, when the Creator, he separate you, and you faithist, you have been separated. We've been separated from the world. We know what it means in Revelation when it talks about come out of her. We should know what that means now. It means to come out of the beast kingdom primarily. That's one of the biggest things, come out of the beast kingdom, and to come out of actually our darkness, talking about ourselves, our understanding, the darkness that we have been in for these so many thousands of years. We're in a different era now, and the Creator has given us the information, given us the light, and it's separating, brethren, and it's a pretty trying time. It's a pretty trying time because we can't really fellowship with anyone. We can't really, we live in the world, from what I can see, my perspective, it's like the flesh is really overpowering people. I mean, I read the OAHSPE, and it talks about a kingdom. It talks about the blessing. It talks about the glory and the honor. And then we here in this reality, and it just seemed like it just seemed like sometimes it seemed impossible in my mind that such a place really exists. And it can wear you down being in a situation like we're in, where everything is about the here and the now. You turn on the TV, it's about here and now. The news, every media outlet, everywhere that you get information is here and now. Here and now. So we're in a real struggle. If you are a faithist, that's what the OAHSPE calls you. We're in a pretty heavy struggle where I think it's easy to fall away, to give up, to not believe, to get tired, to hold on, in the sense to learn, to grow the Zarathustrian laws, to learn them, to do them, to believe in them. And I know the Creator, he knows, he's got to know what we are going through. I believe he does know. And the beauty of it is you look up and then the day that was tough, maybe last week, it's in the past. You're a couple of, it's been months since you had a real struggle, real trial. You seem to make it through. Same for all of us. And then you look up and then everything is in the past. That's how I see reality. It's like things happen really. It just seemed like, yesterday you were, young adult and you thought that, everything was going to remain the same. And then you look up and you're older, you're, gray hairs. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it seemed like time really seemed to fly like that. So I don't know. I hope you can understand what I'm saying. You faith this. This is a channel for brethren who are on the spiritual, who are on a spiritual journey that not many brethren are called to. We read where the Creator says that the ratio of believers to non-believers in the world today is pretty steep. It's like 1 to 44. And so far as brethren who reach the age of 70, he's saying that by the age of 70, a lot of us, we should have gotten a good hold on the evil inspirations, the inclinations that attack us. By the time we reach the age of 70, the Creator says 1 in 44 will have done it. So we're in a situation. It's the community of the faithists is very exclusive, man. Not like we mean it to be, but it's very exclusive. Not everybody can join this thing. The invitation goes out. But when you put into the equation how you have to exercise discipline, consistency, learning, studying, meditating, it's just like as if you love something. The same principles, the same rules apply. What would you do when you love something? What do? You dedicate yourself to it. It's no different with the Creator. So my channel, if anything, I know my message is redundant. I don't apologize. I just try to do the best I can. I believe the Creator has set me up to give this message and to remind brethren that we are on a journey. We are in a situation where it's very glorious. Creator says you've been elected to take this journey. Not many people will. Matter of fact, the majority will not. And from what I can see, we probably won't be able to realize the fruit of the things we believe in until way later, when communities, because it's the hearts of the children that the Creator is working with to change. That's why in the New Testament, Jesus Christ said that the kingdom, it cometh not with observation, meaning it was going to be subtle in nature. And a lot of people can't handle that. In the world today, Christians, they can't really handle that. they want the rapture, they want to get bailed out of life. And, it's like they have this mindset. I don't mean to sound harsh, but it's true. It's like they see the rapture as like escaping having to pay the house bill. You know what I mean? It's like they don't have enough to pay to, the more, as a way of getting out of your responsibilities. And so they keep talking about the rapture, the rapture, the rapture. And, they look at it like the whole slate is swept clean. You go into the physical and all of a sudden everything's all good and it's nothing but peace, joy, love, happiness forever and ever. And the Creator, he know that people think like that. He know that humans think like that. That if they can take the easy way, that they'll look for a way, a deal, like somebody else does all the work and then you benefit for it. That's where we live. People, they love that. That's why the grip of the beast is so strong. The beast, meaning religion. People just, all they hear is John 3:16 in Christianity. And they just latch on to that and they won't let go. And the Creator, he knows how disingenuous that is. And so here we have the OAHSPE, the practical guidebook. And the Creator, he makes, if anything, he makes it clear who the beast is. That's really the biggest, I would say, issue with the OAHSPE. The Creator makes it clear who the beast is. I mean, he makes it too clear so that you can run, so that you can escape. Doesn't that sound like a loving father, a parent? You're in a situation. You don't want to be in a situation. You could be in it ignorantly. Don't you know that anybody would agree that if they were in a situation and if somebody knew how to get them out, they would want that person to get them out? Nobody would disagree with that. But yet here we are. The Creator, he's saying, I'm going to bring a new time, a new period. I'm going to send out sons and daughters. They're going to share the light, and people still won't receive them. They won't be received because he's letting you know the nature of the beast. And every time I know personally I see it, it's still unbelievable to me. The last example is that I was sharing about a driver that was transporting me to my appointment with the doctor. And he said something. He set off a keyword. And my mind now is just to hold my peace. Just hold my peace. And but if the Creator seems to open a door, then I'll walk through it when it comes to people, talking to people. So he said that keyword, and I threw a little nugget at him, and then he really got started. Brother just kept talking and talking and talking. And so when it was my turn, I just asked him a couple of questions. I wanted to get him saying no, I don't know. No, I don't know. No. And I did, not to shame him, but to try to get him to see that if you say you believe in something, but you don't know things that pertain to what you believe in, then it should make you stop and think, or at least say, tell me what is the answer? And I even had to tell him. He said, no, I don't know. I said, now, brother, at this point, don't you think that your response should be, why don't you tell me what you're talking about? I had to tell him to say, what the response should be. To say, like, when somebody's talking to you and he's sharing something with you, and it's obvious they know a little something, then you should quit trying to preach and teach, and you should become a student and learn to ask, what are you talking about? I never heard that before. And the brother was so thick-headed, he did it, right after I told him, man, why don't you ask me what I'm talking about? He did it, and then I told him, and I tried to be conclusive, how you have to be when the beast kingdom. I mean, solid in your answers, really solid and conclusive and concrete. Give good concrete answers and keep it real short. And after I gave him, the answer to something that he didn't know, he went right back into his rant about Jesus Christ, and he's never going to listen to anything else. And it's at the point now where I'm surprised when I hear that type of mind, but I don't show it. I don't really show it. I'm too used to it now. It's been what, like 10, 11 months since I come into the knowledge of the OAHSPE and been able to attain to the Creator's voice. So it's no big deal. I don't react the way I did at first. And the shock at how you can say something. It's just like talking to the wall and get no response, no reaction, no understanding to even the simplest things. So the Creator, for me, is showing me an incredible lesson about the reality that I live in, dealing with what the OAHSPE calls the Uzians, people who are unenlightened. And they could be, we read in the OAHSPE the other day where it talked about, Creator said the kingdom is going to appear as if it's been flipped on his head to a lot of people in this reality. Kings, queens, the rich and mighty, they're going to appear as helpless infants in the spiritual. They are going to find themselves unequipped, unenlightened, and confused, which is the total opposite of the current reality. I just thought that was interesting. So for brethren who are able, I always love to try to share and say that if you have the ability, man, if you got the ability to be spiritual and you're serious, if you're not, I even think that people who are serious are not able to attain to the voice. I think that even people who are serious, I mean, they study, they read, and then they don't show any comprehension ability of what the Creator is doing now, or they haven't heard. I give you another example. There's a man who's real famous in the world, in the Christian community, Catholic community, PhD, books everywhere. And I had a chance to talk to him. And I asked him, I introduced the OAHSPE to him, hoping that he might have the ears to receive it, that he might think this is something that he ought to look into. He's never heard of. I got a chance to witness a little bit, talk to him about who the Creator is, difference between the Creator and God. And it appeared to me that it didn't catch on. He seemed to have taken the information down as if he was planning to maybe look at it later on. But my sense was that it's hard for someone of that stature to listen to someone of my stature. Not accredited, not a big name in the world, don't have any letters behind my name. And it's a shame. It's a terrible thing. I mean, here we have a brother, obviously serious, sincere, wants to attain to the voice of the Creator. And because of the method that the Creator uses to expose him to that, I don't know, it remains to be seen. You know, some people just take time. All you can do is just hope for the best. Everybody is not going to turn, the light bulb is not going to turn on immediately like it does with some brethren. So it's cool, I get it, you know, but the sense I got was that it's the same that I get with my interactions, is that we're in a situation where we only know we are the only ones. I mean, it's like we cannot make people see things the way we wish that they would see them. I mean, I'm not saying anything new. I realize that. That's the spiritual walk right there. So anyway, welcome to my channel. Here's my Facebook channel for anybody who maybe see this video the first time and you want to have fellowship with other faithists. My room and my brother Omian's room, those are a couple of rooms where we like to share different things from the OAHSPE. For your consideration, because we know one thing we know is that the Creator, he has given us something that it'll feed you. You know, we know that the Creator with the newest, with the OAHSPE, with the practical guidebook that he's given, it'll resonate with you. That's how people get separated. You hear his voice, you know it, and everything else is, oh, my screen just cut out on me. Why am I not surprised? That time of day, people getting home from work. So I was getting ready to, oh, bear with me, brother. I got a technical thing going on here. My screen just decided to cut out on me. Now I got to get all my tabs back up that I had up before. So let's see. So I feel like tonight, it's going to be a slow night tonight, but that's all right. I'm going to keep going because there ain't nowhere else to go. So now I got to get all my tabs back up. So bear with me, brethren. I clicked on a button. And all my tabs went away. So let me get them all back here. Get all my tabs back. Okay. So at the top of the hour, I'm going to do the reading on SETHANTES, and I plan to dedicate Wednesdays, or not Wednesdays, but Tuesdays to the gods of the OAHSPE Bible. I think that there's something that we could learn by looking at how they operate, what they had to deal with, how they benefited people, how they grew up other faithists. Might not sound like a sexy subject, but it's all right. I think that there's something that we can learn in everything that's in the OAHSPE. And I like to try, what I like to try to do is to show the difference between brethren who are faithists and the world. I don't want to give the impression that you could just, hang out any old kind of way and expect to attain to the Creator's voice. What I like to try to do on this channel is show the plan of the Creator for he calls sons and daughters. Now, he calls all men his children, but like in a regular family, there's children who are, a little wayward, and there are those who are not. And we're in a situation where there are children who, for some reason, they see the world, they see that there's nothing here for us. And so the Father, he comes along, they hear his word, they gravitate to it, and they start their spiritual journey. So what I love to try to do is continually share what the Creator has given me to basically to point out the difference between brethren who are faithists and the world. Because there is a recompense. There is a consequence that we live in a world that they don't think about. Now I'm trying to get myself situated here. While I'm talking, I still got a little bit of a cold, so my voice may sound a little stuffy, but at least it's going away. So let me find the book that I'm going to be reading from. The Top of the Hour, SETHANTES, chapter 3. So I can have that ready. Okay, there. Okay, got that. All right. So what I'm gonna do now is just go to my room. I'm looking at some things that I posted. I love to try to find things for brethren to read, to try to. I like to try to share things that may increase. It may, it may help with some understanding, or it may encourage, or it may clear up something. So, first of all, let me show you my brother's rooms. Brother Omian, here's one right here. OAHSPE College University. I got the link in the description area. Click on it. It'll bring you in. Here's another one. His room. Click on it. Bring you into the room. Let's make sure I'm sharing it. Okay. And then my room, where here's my mom's food ministry, where I'm targeting elderly, disabled, and orphans. And I know there are brethren out there doing a good work, sharing and building up. And, you have ministries. I'm trying to let you know. If you see my video, you come into contact with me. That's how you can reach me. And I will certainly jump in to help out wherever I can. I consider it a privilege, and I will do it if you let me. Now, I'm going to share some verses that I have, some things that I've shared. Things that I like to share. I like to read and find things that might bless brethren's soul. I realize that we're like-minded brethren, and I'm sure that you like to, we read the OAHSPE because the Creator, he's able to write in such a way that it bless your soul. Oh, somebody's calling. Hold on a second. Hello?
This is Rochelle just calling to confirm your pickup tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll be here. What time is it?
Okay, let me look at what time your appointment is. Your appointment is at...
Okay, just send it. Just send it, because I'm actually on YouTube right now doing my podcast, and you're on it, so I can't be hanging out. Just send it, or send me.
Okay, so it's a 12:30 pickup.
All right, I'll be here. Okay, got it. Thanks. All right. Never fails during the podcast. So here's some verses that I want to share before I get to the reading. Now, here's one. It says, and man was unconscious of his creation. Man was unconscious of his creation, not knowing where he came from, nor did he know which was his own species. And I sent angels to man to teach him who he was and rouse him up to his capabilities, for which I created him. And my angels drew from man's side substance and thus took on corporeal forms. And the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to help make man understand. So, interesting thing about this is the parallel account of what's in the Bible. Creation of man took Eve from Adam's side. But this is what the OAHSPE says is the real account. I just think it's interesting that the Creator is showing us he's showing us that we were our inability. But to look at man now, we've reached a level where we accredit everything. We get a little understanding and knowledge, and we accredit everything to ourselves. He was unconscious of his creation. Hey, Snap. Unconscious of his creation, not knowing where he came from, nor did he know which was his own species. And he sent angels to man to teach him who he was, to rouse him up to his capabilities, for which I created him. And my angels drew from man's side substance and thus took on corporal forms. And the angels dwelt with man as helpmates to help make man understand. Yeah, I know that Adam Cadman is, I know that term is in the Book of Knowledge, the Keys of Enoch. I forgot what the definition of the Adam Cadman was. I think it was the first man, if I'm not mistaken. I forget what the definition of Adam Cadman is. I forget. If you want, you can put it in the definition or in the chat, Asenath, because I forget what it is, the exact definition of Adam Cadman. Okay, now another verse says, this is wisdom, O king, to get away from the individual self, to become one with an organization, to work with the Great Spirit for the resurrection of men. Whereas you make yourself one with many to this end, so does the Father labor with you with them. As you keep yourself as an individual self, so do individual angels come to you as individuals. Individual answers to individual. The first resurrection to the first, the second to the second. Moreover, the all person is over all, and works each in its order to a great purpose. The operative part of the verse that I wanted to share here. As you keep yourself as an individual self, so do individual angels come to you as individuals. They don't come as part of the second resurrection. They come as individuals. So when you separate yourself, you don't want to be joined with brethren. You want to just walk according to your own understanding. Then the Creator is saying that you can be subject to individual angels who come to you as individuals, and they come from the first resurrection, because that's what the first resurrection is. So again, basically, our affiliation, the way that what we're supposed to gravitate to. is affiliation, joining with one another. That's the second resurrection. To desire to be joined with other brethren, to build with other brethren, a community, a family, a nation. Everywhere you look, that's all you're going to see when you read the OAHSPE. That's the bottom basic line message right there. Join together, be like-minded, live in harmony, esteem one another, be your brother's keeper. Here we read, and it shall come to pass that many of these infants shall not see without their corporal eyes. Now I'm jumping in the middle here of a thought. In the middle of the verse here in Job's kingdom, the book of Job's kingdom. I'm jumping in the middle here. He's talking about the infants and how they're to be raised up. We get to this verse and it says, and it shall come to pass that many of these infants shall not only see without their corporal eyes and hear without their corporal ears, but they will attain to adeptism. This is a prophecy. And the angels of heaven shall descend among us, appearing so as to be seen, and talking with us so as to be heard. And because of such exceedingly great light among us, no one shall practice deception. For the minds and souls of all shall become like an open book. How do you like that? It's like the Creator saying, we're going to know each other like the back of our head. Our spiritual perception, our abilities. This is a prophecy. It sounds like a prophecy. Infants are going to be adept, being able to see without their corporal eyes and without their corporal ears. Adeptism. Get the definition of adeptism. They can see the spiritual. An adept is an adjective that means having, showing, knowledge, skill, or aptitude. It says, for example, you might describe someone as adept at juggling, handicrafts, or dealing with the media. As a noun, adept refers to someone who is highly skilled in a particular field. Synonyms of adept include expert, good, practice, proficient, and skillful. So you can fit a lot into that definition of an adept. You know, I read something interesting. It reminds me of something I read, how, you know, there are autistics in the world. These are people who got gifts, man. You know, I remember one guy, he was autistic and he was blind, I think. And he was kind of slow, you might say. But he could do wonders with pottery. He could do, and there are autistic people like that. They're highly developed in an area. You remember that movie Rain Man? Rain Man, from what I could understand, that's a true story about this. He was a savant, S-A-V-A-N-T. You know, you see these people. They can, I mean, do things. They're skilled. They gifted in a certain particular area. They might not be able to do anything else. The Creator said the kingdom of heaven is like that. He said that it will appear to be upside down to the world. Kings and queens as helpless babes and people who you would say are autistic as rulers. I mean, it makes sense to me, you know. You look at them, they, you know, they're documented. You'll see him on documentaries. Somebody will be featured. He's autistic. He has no love of the world, no love of riches, and he has this great skill. He has a great skill, which he can make billions off of, but he has no interest. The creator says we're in the cosmic era, and these things are going to be mainstream. See, that's why November 19th, Pluto going back into Aquarius. Brethren, that's something to look forward to. We don't know. I mean, I'm not saying in one day, but we know that something is going to be set in motion. And more than likely, it has to do with the tearing down of this system, which holds most people back. It makes people compete with one another. Because resources are limited, we don't know anything else. You know, we compete with one another. We try to outdo one another. So the creator's saying, that's not my kingdom, man. You know, that is not my kingdom. That's your kingdom. That's the Capricorn way, man. You know, I'm not saying Capricorns are bad. I'm just saying that it's proven they have a gift of being able to climb the mountain. And the system is reflective of that. Most people can't climb that mountain. I mean, not to say that other signs they can't. We're all gifted one way or another, but it's most pronounced amongst Capricorn, their ability to climb the social ladder. Every time you look around, you see how that truth comes out, you know? You go on the internet. So adept, the children, the people that the creator is working with now. It's the children. Again, that's why Jesus Christ said the kingdom, it cometh not with observation. So that part he said is true, I believe. That's the mistake that Christians make. They keep looking for the rapture. They looking for it, you know, all these numbers, you know, according to this number, and then you look at this sign, and then you look at the planets, and then you add them up, and then subtract 5, and then add 2, and then divide by 6. Man, that's it, man. It can't fail. It's got to be on this date. You don't know that it's happening right now. Cosmic Era Creator, he dealing with infants, young spirits, babes. He changing her heart. He changing her mind. You can't see it. That's why you can't understand it. Adeptism. And then it says, and the angels of heaven shall descend among us, appearing so as to be seen, and talking with us so as to be heard. I believe that already happens to some brethren. They have experiences that other brethren don't have, you know. I'm kind of jealous of that. You know, Dave, he talks about going to Yatante. I guess the only thing you can say is that these are brethren who have been in for a while, you know, and they've gotten to a certain level. I think that, you know, it takes time to learn how to do things like that, to go out of your body like that. I believe it can happen. The OAHSPE says Yatante is a subjective place, meaning you could take your mind and go there. It's subjective. Creator calls it a visiting place, kind of like a cafe. I think I'm gonna take a night out on the town. I'm gonna go to the cafe. I'm gonna go to Yatante, meet with other spirits. I think that's one of those things that I don't know. Some people, they seem to be born that way. Suis, Sarges. Other people, just matter of time, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what I think. It says, and because of such exceedingly great light among us, no one shall practice deception, where the minds and souls of all shall become like an open book. We gonna know what each other are all about. We ain't got to suspect one another like you got to in this reality. You always got to suspect somebody. What's their angle? Why are you talking to me? How come you're approaching me? What have you got up your sleeve? Creator's saying that's where we live now. You got to suspect people. But here he say that the light among us is going to be so great that you can forget that practicing deception among one another. We're going to each know each other like an open book. We're going to know what we're all about. Faithus, we're going to be able to see brethren, strangers, our own community. Not going to have to suspect them. If they say they in need, we ain't going to need to question them and, what's their angle. It says to simply teach the child the botany without reference to the spirituality that underlies all living things would have little effect in turning the child's thoughts to his own life and growth in spirit. At an early age, these infants shall be thus put to work in gratification of their own desires to do something, and their work should be educational, corporeal, and spiritually. See, that's the beautiful thing. When you work in the field of your choice and you're gifted to do it, it sounds like what the Creator is saying. That his program is for us to, now I have to think he's talking about when we're born in spirit, that we get assigned to learn in our gifts. Now I could be wrong, I'm just trying to say what it sounds like to me. Infants are put to work at an early age in gratification of their own desires. I think that's where the educational system that we live under, it can't work. It just can't, because people are forced into this field, that field, and a lot of times a child they don't know what. I mean, I would say most of the time, to the one, they don't know what their gift is, what their talent is, what their inclination is. But creators, it's like he's saying, but I do. I'm going to put you to work in gratification of your own desires, to what you like to do. Giving us a picture of the kingdom of Jehovah. You know, I love that, man. I love it. The Creator, he puts us to work in that which is our desire, as in we're gifted in this area or that area. It says, Jovia said, I created the corporal man as a womb for the ES, which is the spirit of man by death. Behold, the spirit is born. That's why we know, I like to share all the time about, we know we are in the womb. We are in the womb with the opportunity to create ourselves. Can you hear me now, Elizabeth? Oh man, don't tell me that. Oh man, I hit the button accidentally. Can you hear me, Elizabeth? It's good to see you, sis. Dog. Oh man. Can I be heard? I think I hit the button. Can you guys hear me now? Oh my goodness. Testing, testing. Can I be heard? Wow, man. Oh man. Oh man. When is it gonna stop? Oh, Elizabeth, thanks so much, man. Oh, I didn't know. And I hit the button. I hit the button on my mic and it took. Wow, man. I thought that the creator was really, really giving me some good things to say too. Oh, man, that's deflating. That is so deflating, man. It's good to see you, Elizabeth. I haven't seen you in a while. Oh man, that's deflating. I thought I was saying some really good things too. Let me see if I can sum it up because it's time for the reading of the word. So let me see if I can summarize the last 7 minutes. What was I saying? I was saying I was trying to talk about how the Faiths are. Let me see. Let me regather it. Let me sum it up. I was talking about how Faiths. I was equating them with brethren who they they um they don't they take advantage of the current reality. They know that they are in the womb. We know that we have the opportunity to create ourselves, which is the greatest mystery of life. The creator has let us know that we have the opportunity to create ourselves. We're in the womb of the corporal, which is the physical. The OAHSPE says that when we are born again, the real life begins. And right now, we're here, we're in the earth, we're in this reality. And you're able to take your thoughts and shape it into a beautiful woman, like Elizabeth here. You can the summary of what I think I've been trying to say the last 7 minutes is that I think the bulk of it is that we as Faiths, one of the biggest differences between us and the world is we have the opportunity, as crazy as this sounds, and I hope the creator bless me with clarity here. We have the opportunity to shape our spirituality. Remember the paradars that the OAHSPE talks about? The first things that happen when a Faiths cross over and they're born into the spirit, and then they meet their paradar. And then you say, oh, wow, who are you? Who are you? And the paradar says, I'm you. I'm your beautiful thoughts. You know? So, but Faiths, they have to work for it. I mean, they have to dedicate themselves. They got to self-sacrifice. They got to self-abnegate. Creator, he calls us to do something. And then he calls on you to remember why you're doing the things you do. And then when that time comes, the world is going to say, but what about us? What about us? We're just as good as them. But every mouth is going to be shut because the world is going to be made to see you don't care. You don't care about trying to be a Zarathustrian. You don't know my laws. You don't practice them. You don't listen to them. You don't. Why should I give to those who have striven and won the kingdom to someone who has put forth no effort whatsoever? How is that fair? The creator is ultimate fairness. He gives you what you desire. So for the last minutes that you guys didn't hear me talking, I was trying to just make that point that that's one of the huge differences between a Faiths and the world. You got to remember that. You can't think that we're like everybody else, man. You could end up flaming out. You could flame out in the sense that your light gets put out. See, again, man, that's one of the purposes of my channel. I'm going to always try to point out the difference between a faithist and the world. I'm going to always, I'm going to ask the Creator to help me, because I don't want us to think that we're like everybody else. It's hard enough just believing. So I'm going to try to do my part not to let brethren think that way. I want brethren, as much as I can, to let them know, hey, man, you something special. You are something special. And it's not like we trying to shut the world out. We want our brethren and sisters to come in, but don't say anything when faith is win the kingdom. When they, the Creator, when he shows the world that, they won the victory, and he assigns them whatever. And then, you learn too late that, the Creator is he's to be taken seriously. We're trying to win the kingdom, brethren. That's why we're trying to win it. And he's given us an unfair advantage in that we have this ability to attain to his voice, to learn what his will is, which is to be servants to our brethren. And that's pretty much it right there. Now, I'm late for the reading of the word, so let me get to that. So the reading is going to be chapter 3 in SETHANTES, and every Tuesday I want to do like a God series in an effort to go all the way through the OAHSPE practical guidebook. Okay, let's see. So it's messing with me again. Don't want to let me bring up SETHANTES, so let me do it another way. It's kind of comical the way these things, all day my computer, no problems, and then all of a sudden I start doing the videos and these things just kind of pop up, and see, now the other screen, it popped up, and I just went back to see if it popped up, and as soon as I made it come up on another screen, then the other screen said, no, me. So anyway, it's my mind to try to focus and learn from the gods, try to look at how they dealt with mortals, and I'm trying to look at the different gods, and I want to show how, what their flavor was, whether they were, not soft and gentle, or whether they were like Osiris. And I think it was Osiris who busted in on this king in his kingdom. It said he went right up to the throne, with his ship, right up to it. It's like you get the picture of a man, he just busts the door open and walk straight up to the guy and grab him by the neck. I think it was Osiris that was pictured that way. But the gods I want to try to find the differences in how they dealt with us, so we can kind of see their individuality. We may subscribe to one God's flavor over another, and we may learn that way. So when we left SETHANTES, we see that he was the first God of the earth, and he's setting up his administration. Okay. And then they're anointed, they're deputized, they're given authority, and then assignments are given out, and the earth is orchestrated or administrated. Okay. That's what happened the last time we left SETHANTES. We left him in chapter 2. Okay. So chapter 3, I imagine, is going to be where the rubber meets the road. Now it's going to get down to business, and we're going to see like maybe the issues that arise with man, and man getting educated, and now he's going to get conceited, and I don't know. So I'm way late. I'm going to move kind of fast. Chapter 3, SETHANTES. May the Creator bless the reading of his word. He says, and in heaven God appointed angel surveyors to survey the earth and atmosphere, and astronomers to note the place of the stars, and enumerators to number the inhabitants of the earth and atmosphere, to grade them and apportion their places, and nurses and physicians to receive the Essenes and minister to them, and builders of heavenly mansions and weavers of fabrics were covering the newborn, the Essenes, and builders of heavenly ships were carrying the inhabitants from place to place, and God appointed officers and teachers according to their grade to all of these offices. Okay, so we see the establishment of earthly offices, of surveyors, of astronomers, of enumerators to number the inhabitants of the earth, to grade and apportion their places. We see nurses and physicians, so we see the setting up of the earth to receive the young spirits and administer to them. Now, this is in the heavenlies. It's going on in the atmosphere. So it's, from what I can see, it's not on the earth. This is going on in the atmosphere, right? So all these different administrations for the running of the earth. Weavers of hey, weavers. So Elizabeth is in the OAHSPE. If you take off that S, how do you like that? Weavers of fabrics for covering the newborn, the Essenes, the young spirits, builders of heavenly ships, for carrying the inhabitants from place to place, and God appointed officers and teachers according to their grade to all of these offices. All right. It says that when God had completed his appointments, the people were sent to their places to begin the work allotted to them. And God called the Asaphs and said to them, go down to the earth, bring me the first fruit of the first resurrection. Okay. Newly dead. God said, the spirits of the dead. The Asaph said, the spirits of the dead, who are they? God said, when a corporal comes forth out of his corporeal body, they shall be called that. This shall be called death. The Asaph said, who then are the spirits of death? And God answered them, saying, oh, you who died in infancy, how can you learn corporal things? Go then to my Lord, Waga, and he will show you. So evidently this is taking place on Pan. The angels don't know who, what do you mean by death? We don't know. What? Spirits dead? What do you mean? Where do we go? Who do we do? What do we do? You know? What do you mean? We don't know what death is. We don't know what dead spirits are. So he says the Asaphs departed and went down to the earth, and the Lord, through the Ashars, delivered 500 Essenes to the Asaphs, young spirits, who brought them to Horeb before the throne of God. And God said to them, who are these? The Asaph said, these are the first fruit of the first resurrection. Behold, we now know the beginning and the end of corporeality. The earth body of these Essenes, young spirits, was only a womb from which they are now delivered. So again, you know, our bodies, these are just our bodies. I mean, you already know our bodies. These are just the birthplace of is preparing our spirit to determine where we land when we're born again. Our bodies is a womb of the spirit. Asaph said, okay, now we know what you mean by death and young spirits. Okay, now we got it. Okay. He said, these are the first ones of the first resurrection. And then God said, well done. Take these young spirits and feed and clothe them, for this is your labor. Okay. The Asaphs answered, alas, we've tried to feed them with all types of food on which we ourselves subsist, but they will not eat. God said, alas, oh, you innocents, you feed on ethereal food. These young spirits, these Essenes, must have atmospheric food. even as corporeans subsist on corporeal food, go then, fulfill this first resurrection, for as much as you deliver them, so will you be delivered in time to come. So they are on Similac, man. They're not on what's a non-meat food. You know, they're not on. See, I can't say things like filet mignon, I'm trying to point the difference between Etherian food and atmospherian, corporean food. You get it. It says the Asaphs then departed, taking the Essenes with them, but after a while they returned to God, saying, Behold, O God, we have gathered the atmosphere of trees of all kinds and of seeds and plants that grow on the earth, all most beautiful to our senses and savory to the smell, and we gave to these Essenes. But lo, they will not eat. Being alarmed, we again hasten to you for your information. God said, Oh, you of little wisdom, knowing so much of heaven, so little of earth, go back to the place where you brought these Essenes from, and learn what kind of food they subsisted on. The Asaphs went back with all haste to learn in reference to the Asaphs went back with all haste to learn in reference to the food. And in due time they came again before God, saluting, saying, What shall we do, O God? Behold, these Essenes, while in the corporal form, feasted on fish and worms. How can we bring them to the atmospherian parts of these things? God said, the last time you were present, you said you had gathered the atmospherian part of trees, seeds, fruits growing out of the earth. Why then can you not gather the atmospherian part of fish and worms? So the Asaph said, Alas, we have observed this difference. The trees, plants, and fruits emit delightful atmospheres. They emit delightful atmospheres, most nutritious to the spirit, but that which is emitted from the living fish and living worm is foul smelling, being only the sweat and dead substance evaporating. What then shall we do? God said, Go to the place where mortals kill fish and worms, and in the same time that mortals tear these things with their teeth, snatch from their hands and mouths the atmospheric parts of the food and give it to these young spirits, Essenes. Remember also that little by little you shall teach them to live on other kinds of food. And as you do these, Essenes do this also for others afterward, remembering that men subsist on in corporeal life, that what men subsist on in corporeal life is entailed on them in spirit. The footnote says, what men eat in corporal life is necessitated, it's bound. It's bound in their spirit for a space of time after entering atmospheria, and they shall be fed spiritually with like substance. The Asaphs then departed. And on the third day after that, the voice of Jehovah came to God, saying, My son, behold, what the Asaphs have thoughtlessly done in your name. They come to the fishery and did as you directed, gathering food for the Essenes, and the Essenes stood at their side, saying, Why gather for us? Behold, we are now strong in spirit. Allow us to gather for ourselves. And the Asaph said, It seems well, do as you desire. So the Essenes went to the fishermen and fisherwomen who were eating raw flesh, and the Essenes laid hold of the atmospheric part and ate a sufficiency of it. Then the Asaph said to them, You have feasted sufficiently. Come away with us now. In other words, come on, you had enough. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Below the Essenes, they basically took a chain and wrapped it around the corporal and chained himself to him. It's like they saying, but lo, the Essenes engrafted themselves on the fishermen and fisherwomen. It would not depart. The Asaphs, not knowing what to do, called on my name, O God. The Asaphs, not knowing what to do, called on my name. Oh God, quickly send to them those skilled in deliverance, so that my Essenes are preserved to everlasting life. And God summoned those skilled in deliverance of engraftment and dispatched them hastily with messengers to the fisheries. Joey said, from the trees, fruits, flowers, grains, seeds, and roots that grow in the ground, I've created a ceaseless harvest going upward in the atmosphere, which shall be the sustenance of the spirits of men newborn in heaven. But whoever feasts on flesh on earth shall not find spiritual food in heaven, but he shall return to the butcheries and eating houses where flesh is eaten. Before it is rotten, he shall feast on its Atmospherian part. Place a guard, therefore, over the newborn, lest they engraft themselves on mortals, feasting on their feasts, and so go down to destruction. So this is all very interesting, man. Talking about the Atmospherian part of food, it sounds like the smell of food. You know, maybe your wife is cooking and it smells really good. And it's almost as fulfilling as eating the food, is what it sounds like. And the young spirits, they seem to just the smell of the food seems to be enough for them. You know, there's a lot of places like that in this reality. You go by a place at a restaurant, the smoker goes, you know, it sends the smell over the area where it's at. And shoot, man, that's just as good as eating. That's just as good as eating this stuff, you know, almost. And so that was the case we got here. The young spirits say, I remember that. I remember that. I remember that. Yeah. I like that. That smells good. You know, the only problem is the creator. He says that part cannot rise. It cannot rise in atmosphere, etheria. It stinks. It's got to stay near the earth. So it says, after many days, the Asaphs came before God, saying, the physicians severed those who were bound, and we brought them away. Shall this be our labor day and night to lead these Essenes about, finding them clothes and food? For we have observed that the more we do for them, the less they do for themselves. Jehovah spoke through God, saying, a nurse I provided for the newborn, but when he is grown, I command him to provide for himself, so that he may be a glory in my kingdoms. By charity alone, you cannot raise man up, but be diligent in teaching him to continually raise himself. For in this lies the glory of manhood. The Asaph said, if we leave the Essenes alone, they will return again to the fisheries, and fasten themselves upon mortals, doing nothing but eating. God said, near the fisheries, but in atmosphere. God said, near the fisheries, but in atmosphere, go and fashion a colony, and it should be your colony in heaven. Take these young spirits there, not showing them the way to the fisheries in the colony, not showing them the way to the fisheries. In the colony, put them to work, weaving, making clothes, and otherwise producing. But go yourselves for the food at the fisheries and bring sufficient every day, giving only to those who labor or to invalids and helpless ones. By this you shall inspire them to labor, which is the foundation of the growth of the spirit. And eventually they will not only care for themselves, but join you in helping others, which is the beginning of the second resurrection. This then is a lesson you have learned, that according to the diet and the habit of mortals on earth, you must provide so much you provide the same for their spirits when first entered in heaven. This then is a lesson you have learned, that according to the diet and the habit of mortals on earth, you must provide the same for their spirits when entered in heaven. So he says, choose therefore from your own people a sufficient number to make all things required for a delightful colony, whether it is food, clothing, nurseries, hospitals, place of worship, or a place of dancing, and there receive all the young spirits who are delivered from the earth, raising them up in industry, virtue, wisdom, myrrh, love, benevolence, and adoration. And this shall be a new heaven to you all. So here we got to change. Where it used to be, the ASAFs come get the young spirits, and they would take them back to the places to get them atmospheric food, what they were used to, or corporeal. What is it? How they went? The atmospheric food of flesh that they loved, and the Creator had the ASAFs build another place so that they wouldn't get taken back to the earth and feast on the atmospheric food of flesh. So the Creator say here, in order to stop that problem of them wanting to go back and feed on the atmospheric food of flesh and graft themselves the morals, don't even take them there. Here, you build a place here, bring the young spirits there, give them all these, give them nurseries, give them factories, give them, keep them busy, give them the work, and then feed those who want to, who do work, and then you go get the food, and then you bring it back to them and feed them such as is enough. Okay, that's another place in heaven was created for this. And then he says, you are my chosen and an example colony of all the kingdoms I shall build in my heaven. The time is coming when the whole atmosphere around the earth shall be filled with countless millions of angels born out of the earth. Be swift in your labor. The people spring up from the earth rapidly in the heaven. So death is increasing, it's picking up. And every colony you now establish shall in time to come be a great kingdom requiring experienced workmen. Whoever labors most efficiently for Jehovah, I will promote to wider fields. He says, you are one of the cornerstones of the Cephas. And the footnote says, established culture. Also, enforced culture. Imposed and compelled culture. So if you were to ask me, when he says you are one of the cornerstones of Cephas, it sounds like the implementation of a system that was going to stand forever. You are establishing the way it's going to be from here on out. You ASAPs, this is the way it's going to be. You're going to establish the way it's going to be. You're part of the beginning of the way things are going to be from here on out. You are one of the cornerstones of Cephas, and his house shall embrace Cephas, being one of the children of the Creator, one of the entities. So he says his house shall embrace the atmosphere and the whole earth. So this is going to be true on Atmospheria and the whole earth. All who come out of the earth and go into Atmospheria were going to come under this system now, where they weren't going to be going back to the earth to feed on atmospheric flesh food. They're going to be taken to another place, and then from there, educated, taught, learned, and it said words are already taking root in the mouths of mortals, and for tens of thousands of years, wars will reign, might against might, darkness against darkness. Hundreds of millions will be slain in wars on the earth, and their souls will be thrown into chaos. Even as you saw these spirits fastening on the mortals for food, So will spirits in chaos. Millions of them fasten themselves on the battlefields, still battling for, or fastening themselves on mortals, obsessing them to madness and death. How do you like that? The way of a spirit. It's like you can't change it. It's like it'll continue to be illogical. If the creator don't intervene some type of way, the spirit won't change. It won't change, man, unless the person changes it. He dies, he wakes up, still thinks he's in war. He acts as if according to what he really believes. He never crossed over while he was in the physical. He never attained to the creator. And it stayed with him. It stayed with you. Your mind stay with you. If you don't change it, if you don't get it out of the beast kingdom, then the creator, he's like, you keep that same mindset in the spiritual. Hey, Yogi. All right, brother. Good to see you, man. Good to see you, brother. All right. So chapter 4 is SETHANTES. It says, so God established colonies in heaven for the reception of spirits immortals. And the colonies embrace the arts of healing, education, industry, drapery, manufacturing, and building of ships, and all things required for the spirit, even as corporal things are required by mortals. So now we see where we're headed. You faith this. Colonies in heaven, where we learn arts of healing, education, industry, drapery, manufacturing, building of ships, and all things required for the spirit, even as corporal things required by mortals. And great labor came upon the hosts of God, who established these things, toiling day and night, receiving the Essenes, the young spirits, providing food and clothing for them. And many of the hosts of God lamented that they had come to the corporeal earth and framed songs and anthems of lamentation. And these chanted even while at labor. So I mean, it's interesting right here. Great labor came upon the hosts of God. They got tired dealing with the Essenes, the ones who were charged with establishing these entities for the young spirits coming out of the earth. It says they were toiling day and night, receiving the young spirits and providing food and clothing for them. And many of the hosts of God lamented that they had come to the corporal earth. And they framed songs and anthems of lamentation, and these they chanted while at labor. So they didn't want to be there. They didn't want to work with the Essenes and mortals no more. The Essenes, they got tired of the labor. So they started to sing anthems to the creator while they were working. And God was troubled that they were lamenting in the presence of Essenes, and he called together the proper officers in order to rebuke them. But lo and behold, the light of Jehovah spoke from the throne, saying, do not rebuke them. Oh, my son, did I not command them, saying, behold, I've created a new world, the earth, come and enjoy it. And when they had come, did I not say to them, enjoy all the fruits of the earth except the fruit of the tree of life, lest you die? But corporal spoke to them, and they believed in corporal. But corporal spoke to them, and they believed in corporal. Why then shall they not lament? Do they not remember their former homes in Ethereum, and thus aspire to regain them? So the creator is saying, hey, they are reaping what they sowed. I told them not to have sex with the corporeans, the tree of life. Don't do that. If you do, you're going to die. And so the creator is saying, let them sing these songs of lamentation, because they're going to appreciate the creator more when he warns and he tells you something now. It's the same way for us. Why do people suffer? The Creator said, so that they may know my power. The man needs to know his power, so that when the Creator says no more war, and then we experience it, now we know by experience that he means what he says. We've seen the horrors of it. It seems like we don't learn unless a mortal experiences. So the Creator says, okay, I'm just going to have to let you see. It says, but seek, O my son, to make their lamentations a glory in the souls of the Essenes, so that they may aspire to higher heaven. So the Creator is saying, yeah, let them sing, let them lament, and let the young spirits look at them and say, man, what are they singing about? They talking about a place we never heard of before. Man, the way they sing about it, I sure would like to go there. I sure would like to be a part of that. So that's the wisdom of the Creator he gives to SETHANTES about how to deal with the angels who are tired of laboring with the young spirits, so that it'll work a greater harvest. The voice departed, and God, perceiving the wisdom of Jehovah, commanded certain officers to collect many of the anthems and deposit them in the library of horror in heaven, and it was done. This then is representative of their lamentations. So it's almost like this is a song. Where is my home, O Jehovah, when I was happy and my feet wandered? I dwelt with your hosts far above, your glory shining. Oh, the songs in your upraised kingdoms. When shall I rejoice in the music of my own house? Oh, those sparkling running waters. Oh, the pastimes and feast of love. Where is it, oh Jehovah? It was my home in high heaven. I fell in darkness, wandering soul within me that led me forth. The gardens of Jehovah stood on every hand. Oh, senseless feet to take me onward. Into the darkness I was lured. Sweet perfumes arose amid the darkness. Intricate in your glory, O Jehovah, I lost the way. I was lost. The music of your spirits was shut out. I was enveloped in darkness. Where is my throne, O Jehovah? Why have I forsaken it? Crystals and high arches on every side, full standing out, shining, and the songs of my sweet loves. Such was my home and place of revelry. I bartered them all away, wandering forth, buried myself in the opaque. In the dark, oh, for my home in high heaven, myrrh, song, rest, and love, clear shining. You, O Jehovah, have given me sons and daughters. Out of this darkness my gems were born. Oh, I will polish them up. Kin of my kin, I will raise them up. Your goddesses in heaven above will come in ships of fire descending. My jewels shall enter and rise with me. We shall search for my home, the haven of rest. I see you, O Jehovah, in the distance, higher than the highest heavens. Oh, hasten my home and my rest. Oh, ripen these, my precious diadems. Oh, take us to Etherean worlds. And it says, but no one could repeat their numerous lamentations, for there were hundreds of thousands of them. And as the Ethereans sang them, the Essenes, the newborn atmospherians, listened, and looked upward. So I'm sorry for my singing voice there, but I was just trying to give you an idea of this song that they were singing, that the Creator, he worked even that to his advantage. And that will conclude the reading of this word. Brethren, thank you. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. Sister Elizabeth, if you're still here, man, I would have went the whole video and nobody would have told me that I wasn't even talking. You know, that is deflating, man. I would have went the whole. I would have still been talking, not known that I'd hit the button on my mic, that I wasn't even talking. You know, man, I'm telling you, I'm just have to end up going back to OBS, where I mean, them things are deflating. You know, when that happens, and I don't know that, you know, I'm having those. Oh, so anyway, that's the reading of the word Sethantes. To recap, we see where the administration was set up on earth, Sethantes, the first god, and it got to the point where the angels, they started wearying of working with the young spirits coming out of the earth, and they were toiling and said, but the creator, he said that, hey, I told you not to engage with the corporeans. Don't engage with them, or you're going to die. In other words, that you're going to mingle your seed, and it's going to have to, and sure enough, it brought them to a point where now that they had to raise up those that they had, their progeny. Now they're having to raise up their progeny. They're sad. They want to go back home. And the creator said, I'm going to use that to reach the hearts of the young spirits coming out of the earth. So you see a couple of things that the creator has planned for the young spirits coming out of the earth. They go to school. They learn to be a benefit to their brethren. You see where the ASAPs, their role in our development. You see Sethantes. You see Sethantes and organizing the new realms and preparing places for the constantly changing needs of the immortals, the young spirits, us, me and you. So next Tuesday, creator willing, I'm going to pick up with Sethantes again and dedicate Tuesday as a God series where we look at the gods so we can get real good and familiar with them, so that we can, you might see yourself in one or the other of these gods or goddesses. That's what I look forward to. They were one-time mortals, were they not? Meaning they were one-time us. So, all right. Well, you know, I'll be honest, man. You brother let me go on for 7 minutes, man, and nobody told me I wasn't even. So evidently you were like not even listening, man. You weren't even listening to the video except for that one sister. I was sitting up here talking for 7 minutes and nobody said anything. So I'm being honest, man. You brother hurt me there. You hurt me. You hurt me, man. You know, I don't mind if you don't listen. You know, I'm fortunate that you brethren would come in and talk. But to let a brother go on for 7 minutes, man, and you in this room and you don't say anything, that hurt, man. You know, I'll be honest. I'm just being totally honest with y'all. You know, why would y'all brethren do that to me? Except for you brethren who weren't in the room. If you were in here and you heard me talking, why would you do that to me? You know, 7 whole minutes, man. So, but I appreciate y'all anyway, man. You know, so for 7 minutes, sis, you know, 7 minutes, the sister said no sound, no video. 7 minutes. You see? So it tells me that, you know, you brethren come in and I think you check in, check out. That's cool. It's your prerogative. But if you were in here and I mean, I don't know what were y'all doing, you know? I mean, you don't have to come into this video just to try to make me feel better. Nobody has to come here to just, you know, to make me feel, I don't need that. I'll do it. If nobody comes in, I will be doing these videos. If nobody comes in, all right, I'll do it by faith. I'll do it by faith, man. But that hurt right there. I'm just being honest, letting you know, man, on my videos, I get honest with you. But I appreciate y'all anyway, man. And I thank the creator for this opportunity to try to do something, say something, you know, to help to get to encourage somebody, I treasure that, even if it's one person in 10 years, man, I don't care. I love the opportunity. So, Creator, thank you for giving me the opportunity again to make another video. Let me see. Wednesday, I'm going to be in Bible study, so nothing going on then. Thursday, Friday, Creator willing, I'm going to pick up and pick up with whatever He gives me in my spirit. So, man, again, Creator, pray that you bless my brethren with. We're in some turbulent times. This month, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen, man. I've been sharing with your sons and daughters, Creator, about November 19th and the change of with Pluto going into Aquarius. The world doesn't seem to really care, doesn't know, has no idea that the cosmic era is here and that your kingdom is coming. And there's nothing that no one can do to stop it. We realize that we are in a situation where man is getting ready to destroy himself. We don't know, we know that the AG that we're in is it's a hard time, but with what you're doing with the cosmic and separating brethren are either ascending or descending. Faithists are ascending. We live in a world of declension. We've seen the ratio that you share with us, 1 and 44. And I don't know if I understand that fully, but if it means what I think it does, that's a pretty hard pill to swallow. How there's so few, brethren, so few of us. So, Creator, thank you this opportunity. And brethren, thank you for joining me. And until I see you again on video, peace be unto you. Shalom.